Hot Springs Village Inside Out is a closer look at the greatness of Hot Springs Village, Arkansas and the surrounding areas. People, places, experiences. Hot Springs Village is one of the most beautiful places on earth. Join me, Randy Cantrell, and my co-host Dennis Simpson as we engage in weekly conversations to explore Hot Springs Village Inside Out. Today's show is brought to you by Central Arkansas's favorite radio station, KVRE. Find them on the dial at 92.9 FM. Stream them live at kvre.com. RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village. The award-winning RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village is the largest real estate office inside the village with over 30 full-time agents and support staff. Visit them to learn more about this beautiful place to solve your real estate needs. Call them today at 1-800-364-9007. Find them online at explorehsv.com. They are RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village at 1-800-364-9007 or online at explorehsv.com. Ike Eisenhower State Farm. Ike and his award-winning team have been serving the insurance needs of folks all around Hot Springs Village since 1998. Ike has qualified for State Farm's President's Club, Chairman's Circle, and Hot Springs Village Insurance Agent of the Year. Call Ike Eisenhower State Farm today at 501-984-4100. That's 501-984-4100. Find them online at ikeeisenhower.net. Call them today for all your insurance needs because, like a good neighbor, Ike Eisenhower State Farm is there.
Dennis Simpson, Hot Springs Village Inside Out with Mr. Craig Ragsdale today. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine, my friend.
It is good to see you. And you reached out to us with an email and a question I haven't had in a while, but I thought it was a great idea. So I know you work with the Jessieville School District. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm actually an employee with National Park College. So National Park College employs 3 career coaches throughout the county, one being at Cutter School District, the other one being in Hot Springs School District, and myself being in Jessieville School District. So we're employed through the college, but for military terms, we're stationed at these high schools. So
and let me see, military terms because what?
Because I'm a proud 20-year Marine Corps retired gunnery sergeant, Semper Fi. So
20
I'm all the
years, 20 years. And a gunnery sergeant, did I hear that?
I'm a gunnery sergeant, yes, sir. Retired in August of 2019 as a gunny. To me, just had a blast as a gunnery sergeant. So yes.
Well, gunnery sergeants are usually renowned for their charming disposition. So I don't know if you fit that bucket or not. You seem to be a likable enough guy.
I did. You can see in the background, I was a Marine Corps drill instructor for 4 years down at Parris Island, South Carolina, 3rd Battalion India Company. So when I came off the drill field, I got my campaign cover and so I was a Marine Corps drill instructor for 4 years, and a lot of people don't believe it, but I got the proof. I got my wife can vouch for it. All 4 years on the drill field. So yes, sir. It was a remarkable 20 years. I'm a very, very blessed man to have served country and Corps for 20 years. And
well, I don't say it lightly, but we do thank you for your service sincerely.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yes,
not just words. And so we've transitioned from 20 years in the military and as a Marine, which, impressive, to a career coach. Do those have parallels? I can see where they may.
Yes, sir, they do. And that's a good question. And to me, being a career coach is the same thing that I did as a leader in the Marine Corps. Basically, I'm shaping the future. So with my young Marines, I'm preparing them to basically take over my job one day as a future gunnery sergeant or wherever their path takes them. So I am helping and preparing them for their careers and life either in the Marine Corps or even outside the Marine Corps. Every Marine that would leave, if they did 4 years or 8 years, whatever the case may be, I made sure that they briefed me what their plan was. Once they left the front gate, they told me, where they're going back in hometown USA, what job do they have lined up, where they're staying, what kind of insurance have they got, how much are they in debt. So I was helping them prepare. So basically, I'm doing the same thing in the civilian side of the house, but from eighth grade to 12th grade is my scope, and I'm helping students now. So it's not a big difference, but a lot of it is. But yeah, yes,
Well,
sir.
in my mind, I can imagine, and I know that a lot of people don't understand, I suspect, like I've been there. But a drill sergeant, on one hand, you think, well, and everybody thinks of them as harsh and very domineering and whatever. And part of that is, I suspect, is that what the next 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks looks like, and they don't have a clue, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That when we get a new group of recruits, when we would pick up on a Saturday morning, and the drill instructors would step out in front of the recruits and raise their right hand and take the Marine Corps pledge, or train these recruits to the best of my abilities to make them basically trained Marines. For the next 72 training days, for the next 12 weeks, for the next 3 months, every minute's accounted for, and you got to have that consistency. And I think that goes back to the career coach now. It's having that consistency Monday through Friday, helping everybody. You mentioned, it doesn't matter if you're sick, tired, what. You owe it to those students to show up every day, Monday through Friday, just like I did the recruits and my Marines, and be the leader and be that mentor and that consistency. So
Yeah, and it is. I can imagine in some instances, I can imagine it looks harsh in some instances, but it's very considerate and compassionate, because what the next 12 weeks are going to be. Just like, and to take it to the opposite extreme, your eighth graders have no idea what the work world's like. Exactly. And you're trying to explain, look, here's how this can go, and that's going to work, and this won't, kind of thing, right?
Yes, sir. So the beauty about a career coach is we got phenomenal counselors, at Jessieville and all the other surrounding schools. We got phenomenal counselors. What I enjoy and love about a career coach is because I say, okay, you're at Jessieville High School, you're in eighth grade or ninth grade or 10th grade. I'm not going to ask you where do you want to go to college, where you want to go to trade school. I want to ask you, what do you want to do for a career? And we got all this filler that we have to do in order to get you to that career. I basically give them four options. I say, when you graduate being the key term, go graduate, right? When you graduate, you can go to college, you go to trade school, you go to the military, or you go right out to the workforce. Staying home and not doing anything is not an option. We got to have people in those four categories to go out and do those things. Yeah. And so that's where a career coach comes in. And you're exactly right. I wish somebody told me as eighth grade Chuck Ragsdale, hey, listen, you need to push a fast forward button. What are you going to do? What are your plans? Where are you going? So that's the joy of one of the joys of doing what I do.
Well, I can suspect also that, to ask an eighth grader or a recruit or a graduate, even a college attendee, what do you want to do? They don't know, but you can coax the answer out of them. Like, do you like to work with your hands? Do you like to work with people? Right? That type of stuff, right?
Yes, sir. So when I was 40, I was the ripe old age of 41 years old when I retired. All right. So I was 41 and retired. I went in at 21, retired at 41. I'm 44 now. And when I retired, I was the same way. I was like, what do I do now? For 20 years, I didn't have to worry about what I was going to wear to work every day, because I knew I was going to wear the same camouflage utilities every day. I knew we were going to go do this. So now I'm 41 years old, retired. I'm like, now what? So I can relate to these students when they say, because I tell them the game of life is going to wait for you when you get that diploma and turn your tassel and you walk across that stage. The game of life is going to be out there, ready and waiting on you. That safety net's going to be pulled out from underneath you. So what is your plan? You got to have a plan A, plan B. I was on plan W. Some people have like all sorts of different plans that they go on, right? So I tell them, we need to start talking about it now at eighth grade. And I know a lot of people say eighth grade, that's kind of young, but you and I both know the way the world is constantly evolving and technology and the certain jobs they need to be prepared. And I tell them, I'm not trying to prepare you. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to prepare you about what is going, to be expected of you once you leave here.
I have a next door neighbor who's going through some period like that. And she was asking, she said, well, I'm thinking about technology. And I'm like, well, okay. And I said, I've done that for 40 years. And she said, well, what advice would you give? And I thought about it a minute and I thought, 4 of the 5 jobs I've done in technology did not exist when I graduated college. They weren't even around. There was no such thing. And so if you look at it with those eyes and realize, do I want to work in this exact field, or do I like to work with my hands versus sit at the desk versus work with people, and just fill those things out. Well, I tell you what, let me go to the key crux of what we're talking about here. And there's a career counseling moment coming up, a career event. Now that's on the 19th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. January the 19th, from 10 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we're going to have a career fair for adults. And kind of put a pause in that and kind of tell you how this kind of got to go going and planning. We had a career fair back in October for our high schoolers, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And I had 42 representatives come out to Jessieville, everything from college, military, trade school, and businesses. And kids loved it. And I got feedback from the students, and I also wanted to get feedback from the representatives who came out there. And they told me, Chuck, great idea. We love what you're doing out here. We pushed a lot of information, but we're kind of looking for people right now. So that kind of got the wheels turning. Well, why not have a career fair for adults? Maybe we got somebody in the community who's looking for a job or looking for a career change. So I started went to the administration at Jessieville and told them about the idea. Of course, they were all thumbs up. Great leadership, great staff up there
Yeah.
at Jessieville. And so I started going to organizations. I started taking tours myself to go out there so I can come back and say, this is what they offer. I went out to places like Oaklawn, Cobalt Aero Services. I went out to some organizations that are looking right now to hire, and it has good pay, good benefits. And so I came back and I said, listen, I got about 12 organizations, the city of Hot Springs, Garland County, Chi St. Vincent, all these people have rogered up to come out here. And they said, great, I think this is a great idea. And then we took it one step further. We said, well, let's not just do it for Jessieville. Let's open it up to the Fountain Lake and Mountain Pine communities, because in reality, we're all right there. We're all, by the way, the crow flies, we're 5 or 6 miles or closer, depending. And we all are intertwined somehow with these 3 communities being right here. So I reached out to Fountain Lake, reached out to Mountain Pine, and they both got on board and said this is a great thing. And they're all the 2, Fountain Lake and Mountain Pine, are helping out as well too. So we're getting the word out for these 3 communities to come out for a 3-hour time span on the 19th of January. And we're just affording the opportunity. We're affording the opportunity in a place for these organizations to come out and do the first level of the interview process. And we're doing one thing extra too. On the 11th of January, about a week before the career fair, we're having from 5:30 at night to 7:30 at night up at Jessieville. We're having a career presentation workshop. We are going to be talking about how to dress for success. We're going to be talking about your 30-second elevator pitch. And we're also going to be talking about how to fill out a basic resume. And then we're asking teachers and other people from the community that if you have a closet full of clothes that hasn't seen the sunlight in 2 years, maybe if you'd be willing to donate those clothes, that way we can have up there during this workshop event a chance for somebody to pick up a nice shirt or a nice pair of pants or slacks to go with the Dress for Success class, so they can feel that much confident, going into a 15 or 20-minute interview. So we kind of got 2 things going on right here with the career preparation workshop on the 11th. and I'm constantly looking at my notes over here to make sure
No,
I
I'm
don't get
I'm
something
I'm
wrong.
actually fascinated because it sounds like a genius 1-2 hand glove thing. It really does.
Yes,
Let me tell you just a little story and take a segue here real quick, because those of us that have been in the workforce a long time, we don't think about this kind of thing. My wife is a CPA, works at a firm in Hot Springs, and has an assistant with her, and they hired a receptionist, to answer the phone and do some light bookkeeping. They hired a college graduate who had a degree in accounting, and the phone would ring and she would say, "Hello."
yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
everybody just said, "Well, where is this?" And she'd say, "Business name." And my wife came home and said, "She's got 4 years of college and she doesn't know how to answer the phone." And I
Yes, sir.
said, "This surprises you in some way?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "This is not a trade school. They teach them the academics of it, but the practical application, how to tie a tie, how to press a shirt, how to show up and look presentable, how to give an answer that doesn't sound like, you're down at the shack having a burger, but you're in a professional situation and you're answering the question in a professional fashion." Um, when I was a kid growing up, I graduated in 1980 and went to college. And I remember there was a place on University called, and they'd been downtown, but they were called the Drawn, Graughaht, Drawn School of Business. They taught you how to answer the phone. They taught you how to write a professional memo. They taught you how to address other people. They taught you how to address people. Much in some way, I'm assuming, like the military gives you the basics of, come on, know that you don't stand slouched this way. You stand upright. You're ready to talk. You're bright eyed. You're making eye contact. And these basics, nobody teaches them, right?
No, sir. And you bring up a very good point. I tell students up there, statistics say that you have 7 seconds for that first time introduction. You have 7 seconds before somebody has already formed that first opinion about you. That
Really?
first impression takes 7 seconds. And I apologize, I don't have the reference for
No,
that.
no, no. I
Somebody
was
can.
just thinking about that 7 seconds, and I thought, I wonder some days if I had a rewind button and say, "Can we try that again?"
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And another thing you brought up too is that I make it a point to teach them, just like what you mentioned about answer the phone, those soft skills that is lacking with a lot of people, a proper handshake. There's actually a class on how to handshake, not too soft, not too hard, not too weak, just, right there. So I make it a point to shake students' hands. Sometimes I'll do the fist bump, I got it. But I make it a point to shake their hand and I'll tell them, hey, well, we're not crushing brick here, hang on. Or I'll tell them, hey, tighten down a little bit, and also eyeball to eyeball conversations and have that confidence. None of that whispering stuff.
Exactly.
Project your voice. Don't scream it to the heavens, but have that confidence. So that's another part of going into the career coach. And Coach TJ Burke up there at Jessieville teaches a phenomenal class on those life skills and how to talk in public and how to, like you said, stand up straight and don't slouch. So those soft skills are being taught up there as well too.
Well,
I can promise.
wonderful. And I have nothing but respect for all our school districts here. These guys, they are literally doing the Lord's work in many, many ways. I mean it. I was going to say real quick, and I wanted to kind of narrow it down and kind of define this. The ideal client, the ideal participant in the career fair is what age to what age, what education, just give me a ballpark.
Good question. I'm glad you asked. So the first question I'm going to answer is we're looking for somebody that's 18 years or older, an adult, somebody who can go to work right now. Now, if we have a senior that is going to graduate in May and they don't know what they want to do, absolutely, I'm not going to turn anybody away. You want to come to this, that's on you. But far as far so the first part of that question is 18 years or over, an adult. The second part of that answer is the question is out of all these organizations that I talk to, I ask them the same thing that you just asked me. What is the qualifications? What is the skill set? And obviously we got to have people with college degrees, doctors, lawyers, teachers, all that kind of stuff. 9 out of 10 of them said, Chuck, we just need them to show up on time, have a good attitude, work hard, and hit the repeat button and do it the next day. That's what we're looking for. And I was amazed. I was amazed about the good paying jobs out there that we have right now in Hot Springs.
With
That
vacancies
if
ready to
you
be filled, right?
the vacancies ready to be filled right now, like you could call and have a job by 4:30 if you wanted to, right?
It's 3:53,
Because
by the way,
that's how.
people.
So you could call and have a job in 30 minutes. And that's the one thing that shocked me. And there is a study by Georgetown University. There's a study by Georgetown University that says that by the year 2030, that only 33% of the workforce in this country is going to require a 4-year degree. Only
Really?
30% of the workforce. So that means the rest of the jobs in this country, and I hope this going off of memory, I've referenced that correctly. If I mess it up, please correct me. But that means that 77% of the workforce is going to require, jobs that requires associate degree or less, or even a high school degree. So I show students the jobs that are out there that with a high school degree, the jobs and the pay scale that you could be making with a high school degree, what you have with a high school degree plus an 8-month certificate or an associate's degree, or if you want to go to the 4-year degree. I'm not against college. I'm graduating May 6th with my master's degree that I've been using as part of my GI Bill benefits that I've been using, you know, to get myself educated. So I'm all about a college degree,
Yeah.
but I'm also all about trade jobs too, and going into the military and then going straight out to work because you can be successful in all four of those areas. And so that's why I try to tell these kids, you don't need a college degree to be successful. You don't need trade school to be successful, or the military, or straight out to the workforce. You just need to show up on time, be coachable. Number one, be given feedback and criticism, be coachable. Two, have a good work ethic and have a good attitude, and you'll be successful no matter what you do or where you go. So, that is the main focus I hit home. So with this career fair, that's what we're looking for. If you're looking for a job or you want a career change, come to this career workshop, contact me via email. I will do anything I can to help somebody or at least point them in the right direction to try to better themselves.
Well, Chuck, we'll have your email in the list here so people can contact you about this. But this is just January the 19th from 10 to
When
1 at Jessieville. And what
at
building or
Jessieville,
where are we at?
well, right now we got narrowed it down to two places. It's going to either be in our safe room or in the Glazner gym, the old gym there right across
Yeah.
from the shack there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to be the two places. We're still kind of feel some things out at, but that's where the two places are going to be at as of right now. So
Well,
once we get that, slap the table on that, we will get that word out there via social media and all that stuff.
about a year and a half ago, maybe two, Diane and I walked in. We had been at Planet Fitness in Hot Springs across the street. And we love to shop at Ollie's and look around at some places. And we went across the street to a new place called Dirt Cheap. You may have heard of it, kind of a clearance type place and very interesting. Gentleman with a polo, khakis, little table set up, little laptop. And I'm like, okay, this is management, And I walked over and I said, so are you having any luck getting hires? He said, you wouldn't believe it. And I said, well, give me an idea. He said, I've hired 15 people and 3 showed up. 3.
Yes, sir.
I said, you're telling me that 12 people got jobs and they never even came and just showed up. He said, right. He said, now listen, he said, I understand. I'm free to them. I'm free entertainment. You can come and fill out the unemployment questionnaire with me or whatever. And I give you a job and it doesn't work. He said, but they're wasting their time too. And he said, the number of people, he said, what's that? 15% show up, 10% show up, It's not that hard, right?
Yes, sir. It's not that hard. Being 80% successful, is it's just showing up. You show up, on time. The Marine Corps, we always adopted, you show up 15 minutes prior. If you're on time, you're late. That was our model. So you show up on time, show up a little bit early, and do your best. Do your best, have a good attitude, be a team player, and then you go home, hit the repeat button, come back, do it again the next day. And but yeah, it's and that's the time. And listen, I got three teenagers, so I'm fighting battles every day here on the home front, trying to instill that. I instill it 8 hours at school, then I'm come home and I'm instilling it more. So I got good kids. They're good hard workers, and so they. But it's having that mindset, and that goes back to what I said at the beginning of this, is being consistent. You have to be consistent. We all have bad days and good days, but you have to be consistent. You got to be motivated, dedicated, driven, and so that's kind of the happy cheer that I'm trying to spread up there at Jessieville for all to hear. That rhyme, by the way.
Exactly. And I want to make note, and this event is for people just basically in the Jessieville area. I mean, Mountain Pine or Fountain Lake or wherever. You don't have to be just in the school district.
Fountain Lake is going to publish it on there. Yeah, I'm not going to be checking IDs or badges or proof that you live within the area, because I believe that if I have the knowledge, why not share it? If I anybody that comes to me and says, hey, do you know of a good job, night shift in 20 and 30 minutes from the house? I got five. Get a pen and paper. I'll write it down for you. I'm going to spread load that knowledge, because the better that we do as a community, the better we're going to do as a county. The better we do as a county, the better we're going to do as a state, and so on and so on. It just keeps growing. So that's kind of my mindset of how
No,
I'm going about all this.
amen and amen. And I was going to make note. I had a motivational speaker named Jim Rohn, a guy from the North Pacific Northwest, very simple man. But he made note one time. Somebody said, well, I make $15 an hour. And he said, no, you don't. You generate value of greater than $15 an hour, and your employer pay. If you made $15 an hour, you could just sit at home and they could send you the check. But you have to generate a value. And once again, as silly as it sounds, not knowing how to answer a phone doesn't bring value to the company. Just simple, silly things. And so let me get this straight. So on the 11th, is that correct?
Yes, sir. January the 11th from 5:30 to 7:30 in the Jessieville Library. Now that is solid. January in the library from 5:30 to 7:30. We're going to be having a career preparation workshop. The dress for success, 30-second elevator pitch, and all that stuff. And and that's when they're going to have a chance to go through the donation of clothes that we're asking people. Like I said, anything would help. You got two button-down shirts or two collar shirts that you don't wear anymore. Those two collar shirts could be a blessing and be just exactly what it pushes that person over the edge to take them to that next level. So you'd be surprised. It's the little things. I tell my kids, it's the little things in life that you don't even think about that end up being the big things.
Yeah, and something that's indifferent to you. I've got some shirts sitting in the closet. I've got a couple of jackets. I've got some dress pants or some dress shoes. Look, I'm not using them. I'm outgrown them, or they're out of style, or I don't care for. I don't dress up anymore, or whatever. Man, put them to work. Give them a place to go, right?
Exactly. Help me help you. You're making room out of your garage or your closet, and we're helping somebody by spiffing them up, and we all feel better when we get dressed up. That 2 times a year, that 2 times a year that I put on a suit and tie, my confidence goes up. I walk a little straighter. It just does something to your psyche. So you'd be surprised what that can do to somebody.
And then now on the 19th is kind of where it all comes together, where we're going to have employers and potential employees of any age, relatively 18 or older, who we're primarily looking for. But you're really looking to, I mean, if you're ready to go to work tomorrow morning, January the 19th, right? Show up, and that's from 10 to 1. It'll be at the Jessieville School District, to be announced at where the exact location is. And Chuck, we can just have them send an email to you and ask her any questions.
Yes, sir. Feel free to email, and I will get back. We're on Christmas break right now. We go back to school on the 2nd. But hey, listen, I work all through break, just like a lot of the staff and teachers do at Jessieville. So I at least check my email once or twice a day just to see somebody. And I've already been working today about this career fair and being blessed to talk with you. So if it does anything with jobs or careers, they can feel to reach out to me between now and the 19th. we're going to have it, and what I'm telling the organizational reps, though, I said, 15, 20 minutes, however y'all want to do it, that's on y'all. I'm just arranging the meeting place and times. However y'all conduct the interviews is on them. And but we're hoping to have some kind of Google form out right now to where if Chuck Ragsdale wanted to talk to such and such business at 11 o'clock, I can go on there and click that time slot so the employer and myself know I have an 11 o'clock. I'm hoping in a perfect world it will happen that way. I'm a realist. It probably won't. So we're just going to tell people, once we get that form out, let's use kind of common sense. And you still want to show up at 4 o'clock, you can show up. I mean, show up at that time slot, 11 o'clock. Somebody doesn't show up or running late, you can slide into that time slot
Yeah.
and knock it out. So we're just going to.
Are you comfortable giving a list of who the employers would be, or do you don't want to do that? I don't mind.
Right now, sure. Right now, the people that I've talked to is the Forest Service, Cobalt, Arrow, Village, POA, Garland County Sheriff's Department, Oaklawn, the City of Hot Springs, Garland County, Arkansas Career Development Center, National Park College, and Chi St. Vincent.
I got news for you.
Oh,
any one of those jobs could give you a lifelong employment and literally set you for life. Man, working for the forestry department, that'd be awesome. I mean, really.
Yes, sir. I got a real good friend in contact. They came out to our career fair for high schoolers back in October. Every one of these people that I just mentioned, they're like, absolutely. They were all about it. They do, as soon as I told them what I was doing and the thought process behind it, they were like, yes, how can we be a part of this? So,
Chuck, would it be possible?
They do all the work.
Yeah, they do all I like this. You just line people up and they do the work. I like that kind of deal. I hope. Would you mind if I dropped in and took some pictures and maybe ran a microphone while we were doing this?
Absolutely. Bring yourself out. I got yes, sir. I talked to the Village Voice. They're going to be out there taking photos as well too. I've already been in contact with the Sentinel Record, and so yes, the more traction that we can get, and to get the spotlight on, and the theory behind this is the method behind the madness, as we say in the Marine Corps. The method behind the madness is that just to have others see the people that are out there, that maybe that can spark something or get the traction going. Or maybe somebody comes to this event, but they may not be looking for a job or career right now, but maybe a year down the road they are. And everything that they learned at this career workshop and everything that they gained from the interview process maybe will help them a year or two down the road. And if that's what it happens, then we're successful. If one person gets a job or learns something from this, it's a success in my book. I'm not looking for a certain number of people getting jobs or organizations. One person can benefit from this. Chuck Ragsdale's a happy man, brother.
Good. And I want to make note. You say, well, maybe a year down the road, this will help you. You know what? The famous quote from, the maven of the investment guy. I'm sorry. I've gone blank on his name. It'll come to me in a minute. One of his comments, Warren Buffett. He said, nobody knows who's swimming naked until the tide goes out. Yeah. I love that phrase. And my point being, this could be like having a parachute. Well, exactly. You learn this skill today and you don't use this skill today. You don't even get a job. Maybe you've already got a job. Maybe you don't need this skill. A year from now, maybe you don't have that job. And maybe having that parachute is really convenient at that time, as opposed to, being unemployed and going, okay, well, I guess I need to try and find a parachute, or what else are we going to do? Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that, this is the thought process behind it, because I understand that if people go to something, like this career event, and they, don't get the job that they want or whatever the case may be, it's still a success. It's still a success because, like you said, you don't know what's coming down the pipeline. And a year from now, something might get taken away from you, and then you can resort back to what you learned and be successful. So as long as somebody comes out and learns something as simple as filling out a resume. Now, I know there's like 100 different versions of resumes out there, and it depends who you ask. they want resumes that are 3 pages long and just 1 page long. We all hear different. This is going to just be the foundation, basic resume writing, how to get all your key points into a 1 page doc, so that way you can present something to them, to that hopefully future employer, to get the traction going, and maybe go for your second interview or maybe your third interview, and then finally get that job. So
what a great and wonderful, I mean, you're doing the Lord's work, man. Seriously.
Dude, I appreciate that, my friend, but I tell people I'm like a turtle on the fence post. I didn't get to where I'm at, and I didn't get to this. This wasn't there. There's a lot of people at Jessieville that's a part of this. There's a lot of people at Fountain Lake, and the cool thing about it is we're getting the kids involved. Beverly Rhodes down at Fountain Lake, the East teacher down there, he's having his students make the flyer, and I saw the flyer last week for this event, and it is totally awesome. The East students at Jessieville is going to be making the placards and some other things for this event. We got Mountain Pine students involved as well too. So this is a cool thing, is actually seeing the schools get involved and the students. We got great leadership at both schools that are pushing the info out there. So this is I'm excited about this. I really am. I'm really excited about this opportunity.
Well, I'll tell you what, let me see if I can cross market you with some other friends of mine. I know Clara Nicolosi, one of our sponsors, and Ike Eisenhower, great sponsors of ours. I'm sure you're aware of them. They're huge sponsors of the Boys and Girls Club. I bet there's some synergy in there, if you get my drift, right?
I do. And like I said, I got people emailing me businesses. I'm like, hey, I love it. You email me the business, I'll reach out to them. I'll make that contact and say, hey, are you ready and willing? So listen, any kind of traction, any kind of words of wisdom, because listen, I'm not too big on my horse to say, hey, listen, maybe you should do this, or have you thought about that? Because hey, listen, I'll take it all in, brother.
Well,
so anything.
Chuck, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hot Springs Village, Dennis Simpson, Inside Out, Mr. Chuck Ragsdale. And he is actually, let's see. So I'm going to recap. There's a prep class on the 11th. There's an actual career day on the 19th from 10 to 1. And you'll see more. We'll put links at the bottom and connect you. Man, thanks so much for being with us today, buddy.
Thank you, brother. And I want to wish you and yours a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, my friend.
You too. Thanks so much, buddy. Good talking to you.
Thanks for watching and listening to Hot Springs Village Inside Out, a weekly podcast starring Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Visit the website at hotspringsvillageinsideout.com.